the whole Chapo thing that came about was when I talked about him, and then they tried to discredit the story.
For those who don't know, who is Chapo?
All right, bet. So Chapo he's an artist, he's a songwriter, and he's been out in this hip hop thing since he was a kid. Mm-hmm. Right? Signed his first record deal 14, 15 years old. He had moved to the West Coast from Brooklyn, and you know, some Drake leaks came out that got associated with his name of possibly, you know, being a part of what we heard. I got to be safe about how I cover this, right?
Yeah.
But that was the speculation. And I saw like 5, 6 people online that was like, that clip sounds like Chapo. So I went and looked him up, and I did like a video. I did about 2 videos talking about him. And by the time I did the second video, I'm like, yo, Chapo, man, I feel like I'm your PR right now, bro. I would love for you to come talk to us, you know?
Right.
So from that point, it was like a spiral of shit just started happening surrounding his name. Like the Joe Budden podcast talked about the situation, and they acted like they didn't know who he was. Then I did some research, and it was like, how y'all don't know him when he was fucking with y'all at one point? Right. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, why are people trying to discount who this person is when the facts are out there? It's not even like been removed from Google. It's there. So some people from his side, you know, his camp, from the Chop Shop, they started reaching out to me on his behalf because he wasn't sure, you know, how to like handle the situation. Mm-hmm. because of who his name was being associated with. It was like, shit, man, I don't know if I want to touch that. So they started reaching out to me, and we talked, and eventually we had a conversation behind the scenes, and I wanted to make him comfortable. Like, bro, I'm not like, I know what your name is out here for,
right?
But based on, I've done 5 videos on you now. Like, I know who you are. I see what you've done. Mm-hmm. I want to talk to you about what's tangible, not what's fan fiction or whatever the fuck it is, or whatever, however, you know what I'm saying? Let's talk about your actual journey, that we can trace the steps to see how do we get from point A to Z. And of course, some of this other stuff may fall wherever it does in the story, if we even talk about it. But what about everything else? So we did that. And the day after the interview came out, you got who I call the DJ that don't spin. You know what I'm saying?
I never honked at nobody.
You know, his folks came out and basically tried to shit on the interview and act like he's just a fake. Mm-hmm. And they're like, oh, this is another K-bot theory getting debunked. And I'm like, a K-bot theory? Like, huh? So
you talking about hip Fox News? Not hip hop news, but hip Fox News.
Yeah, exactly. The DJ that don't spin and them niggas, man. So
because and the Grand Wizard, Wizard.
Yeah. No,
like I fell for you, bro, because I remember when the DJ that don't spin went live and took your whole thumbnail.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing right now?
That shit had my name on it still.
That shit still, I mean, you and I think you had a really good attitude about it, where you were like, because I for sure wouldn't have seen it like that. I'd have been like, nigga, take my shit down. But you said, got my name on it. I'll take that. I'll take whatever viewership that brings.
Yeah, because especially at that time, because I mean, he took my shit in the middle of the battle. I'm like, damn, okay.
For reference, for those that don't know, DJ Academics is obviously who we're talking about. The people were hitting J Nolan up. I was one of them, and I was like, I saw this live, and I was like, oh, shout out to J Nolan. He got like 4,000 people in there. He going up. And I said, wait a minute, I ain't never hog-tied nobody. Who the hell is this that got it? This nigga got a whole other name. And then went inside there. I was like, did he just take your whole thumbnail with your name and your branding
still
because he wanted to get to this first? What kind of reputable source are you? What is the hell is that?
Yep. And it's happened a couple times. Like it happened.
Oh, it happened more than once.
So it happened on his channel the first time. And I added him on Twitter, and I said, hey man, you know, you could could have just shouted a nigga out or something if he was gonna do that. He didn't say nothing, which was fine with me. But then there's this other page on Twitter. I'm sure you've seen it, the Joe Budden Chat Nigga page.
Yep.
Where they put the podcast clips.
Mm-hmm.
They started using my thumbnails for their videos, they clips. And I'm like, damn, bruh.
You're like, lazy. That's lazy as hell. What are we doing?
And that page is kind of associated with Homeboy too.
Is it I had a feeling, but I feel like it was because of some of the takes being like pro Kendrick at times, even though it's like anti Kendrick. I was like, are they double dipping?
Yeah, so what they do is anything related to like if it's viral, they don't give a fuck. They gonna post it, but sometimes they'll let you know where they stand. So I'm like, nah, that's associated with Homeboy.
That's correct, and it says Cat Nigga in the actual name. So
right, exactly,
right, yeah.
So that was another thing. But then when they came in and just put us on the Summer Jam screen, I was like, okay, bet. Like that's y'all want to play like that? All right, let's talk about it.
Yeah.
So rather than like get defensive or anything like that, I just said, you know what? There's a bunch of other shit about Chapo that still I could have been covered, but I didn't. So I was like, I'm gonna triple down on this. Like, y'all want to say he's not valid? Here goes some more information about him.
Right.
And then, so then that was a thing. Then the next, like 2 days later, I covered this whole Drake UMG shit. And we get some rando who pops out and he jumps in talking about he got an amicus brief. And I'm like, okay, who is this motherfucker?
By the way, did you get that email the other night?
Nah.
He sent out an email and he BCC'd me in it. I'm since my YouTube got it was like legal terminology. It looked like the filing of something, and it basically led back to some tweets that were on Twitter. But I looked at that and I was like, nah, that's a rabbit hole that I do not want to go in. But I assumed because he went and liked one of my posts that had nothing to do with any of this, and then I just it's too many characters in this movie showing up, and that's usually when the show is about to get canceled. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, all right, that's when I lose interest. And I get that he might actually have something going on, but I'm not engaging with that the same way as, folks are always trying to feed me information. And I'm like, I never know who that's actually coming from or why you're all of a sudden so open about giving information. Unless that's say Ebony Prince, I'm good.
Right.
Shout out to Ebony. You see, he reached out to Justin today.
I did see that.
Yeah, I was crazy.
And he said he gonna put money in whatever it is he's putting together.
Come on, cousin. Shout out cousin real quick. Yeah. But continue. So yeah, down with the platforms. That's wild, bro.
So yeah, I just covered it. I read the filing like I did the rest of them because that's become a thing on my channel. And Homeboy just put on his fucking boxing gloves and was fighting everybody in the chat, in the comments.
Yeah.
And he spent 12 to 15 hours in my comments. I ain't never heard of no shit like that.
12 to 15 hours.
12 to 15 hours. By the time I woke up and was notified, he had already spent like 6 hours in my chat.
So debunking things or what? Answering questions or like basic like was it like, what do you call it? Taunting people?
Yeah, he did it to Absa too. But yeah, so he was like trying because of course the narrative around his name was that he was he must have been sent by Drake. So anybody that implied that he may have been sent by Drake, he was trying to defend his honor, and he was doing it comment by comment. And I'm like, bro,
that doesn't look guilty at all. You're right.
Right. So
now I believe you. Thank you for sitting here for 15 hours.
I'm like, this motherfucker been here from like 6 hours.
What is going on?
So I said, hey, bro, I offered him an opportunity to do an interview on my channel.
Right.
Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, shit, I'm doing interviews now. People are going to misunderstand you. We could have a one-on-one conversation. You could tell us exactly who you are, where you came from, and what your intention is. He then got defensive and tried to go crazy on me. I'm like, bro, what the fuck wrong with you? So
what did you say to make him get? What did you say that he justified that reaction?
Man, he's still going today. So yeah. So
oh my God,
the dude. So I didn't say anything out of the way. I said, hey Joe, I see you've taken some time out to respond to quite a few comments. Mm-hmm. Would you mind doing a short interview on my channel to where people can understand you more clearly? It was something pretty much almost verbatim to that.
Right.
He said, I'll pass. If your coverage would have been neutral from the beginning, this would have been a different conversation. So I'm like,
then why are you in my comments?
I'm like, all right, I see where you're going, bro.
Right.
You know, and from there, he just was, when I looked up everything that he was saying in the comments, he felt like he was being framed as some Drake Avenger or something. And I guess to be associated with that was really chapping his ass. Mm-hmm. So he wanted to fight. I mean, not fight, but you know, like he wanted to fight that narrative.
Okay.
No, we didn't get there.
I ain't never hog title, but what the hell are we doing? Right.
But it was crazy to me because I'm like, bro, if you've paid attention to my channel, and I'm not saying that to you, I'm saying that to him.
Right.
If you've paid attention to my channel, because I've read his brief and a lot of the shit he was talking about algorithmic favoritism and suppression on the Spotify's. He was talking about going against discovery mode and all of this different type of shit. So I'm like, these are things I would be open to talking about. Mm-hmm. Like, fuck Drake and all that other stuff. If that's where you coming from, we could have had a great conversation about the direction that the industry has been going into. But for whatever reason, he felt like I was gonna back him into a corner and try to portray him out to be somebody he wasn't. And I'm like, that's not who I am.
Right.
But as of today, as of 20 minutes before I logged on with you, this man was in my Twitter mentions, still wanting to go back and forth.
Nah, bro. Like this is where, and it's so crazy, bro, because coming from the spaces we come from as artists, there's certain things that I've never experienced, especially because you got to meet most people face to face. I had a lot of crazy folks that I didn't come in contact with. I was probably one of them. Sometimes I was a crazy person, but at the same time, there's a different type of mode that people operate with when you got to see them in person versus the internet. And with the last year, it makes me empathetic for the people who engaged in sort of like the back and forth of the political climate in 2016 to 2020, right? I can only imagine because I was out of the loop when that shit happened the first time. I guess the first Trump presidency, I was out the loop. But I started seeing on Facebook, like, I've got family that I haven't talked to in years because of this situation. And I was like, man, I'm glad hip hop ain't got to deal with that. And it was like 10 years later. And now here we are. And I'm looking at this and I'm like, so much of this stuff feels so far removed of the very thing that we say that we love, which is music. It seems like it's just, like I said, it's a TV show that's about to get canceled because when TV shows start having all these characters, when niggas start fake dying and coming back, like that show is running out of, it's almost like when Family Matters, when this nigga Steve Urkel started going to space and he brought that damn microwave machine in the basement. Okay, we about to get canceled. We starting to do some goofy shit.
Right.
That's what I feel like in general what's happening, and it shouldn't be that complex. I'm sorry that you having to go through that, but at the same time,
oh man, don't apologize, man. It's all
because it's not what we signed up for.
It's not, but it is, right? Because when you come out here and you really stand on your square and you stay consistent with who you are, you're gonna be met with these types of engagements. You know what I'm saying? So I try to take these moments because I could like just go and like berate people, but that's not who I am. So what I do is I turn it to a teachable moment. And it's like, you could have, I ain't gonna say you could have had an ally, but you could have had a respectful conversation and got your point across way easier than trying to go against me. You know what I'm saying? I don't like, where do I put out that type of energy to where you will feel like you got to go against me? Like it's motherfuckers out here that would eat you alive.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Before even giving you an opportunity, we'll be like, nah, fuck him. You know what I'm saying? But I'm like, yo, because I already anticipated some people wasn't even gonna like the fact that I was offering him an interview because of the perception that he was sent by homeboy. But I'm like, no,
why would
if
you
this
platform that and not? That's the same thing I would say to me if I was
right.
But that's a part of the responsibility that I learned from Justin. We have a responsibility to not be surrounded by an echo chamber, right? You want to bring voices on that. Like I've had artists that I've interviewed when I was going through my whole Opify content, and I was like, man, fuck this streaming. Da, 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 da. I brought people on that was like, nah, I'm making a really good penny on it. And it's like, well, let's have this conversation because I know I'll leave from this. I'm a sponge. I'll leave from this learning something. But dog, not everybody should have. I don't think everybody should have a platform. I don't think people are mentally prepared to have a platform.
Yeah.
I think that there are some people who bring they bring unprocessed trauma to this space, and you know, it's not for us to judge, right? But it is for us to make sure that we properly vet, because you just never know. You never know where you're meeting somebody from 1 to 10. In terms of 10 being where they're like doing the shit that you're talking about, going in your comments for 15 hours, and you never know where somebody's at. And I think sometimes and this is something I was talking to my wife about the other day. She was like, you got to stop operating from the space that everybody is operating from the same mindset or even the same temperament or the same, like on a nervous system level, the same calm. Because sometimes people just, like I said, this shit might have happened after they just had an argument and they needed to get it out on somebody, and you just so happen to be the YouTuber that came up on a news feed first.
Yeah.
Because you wasn't the only one that talked about it, which is why I don't know why it was so much emphasis. I know you have a large platform, but it was so much emphasis on making sure that your specific comments were littered, and you and Apps, you know, shout out to Apps, we're littered with this propaganda, pretty much.
And it really confused me when, you know, she said that he had did the same thing to her, because I saw that he had posted her video on his story. Like he was happy about it. And then he went to her comments and did the same shit. So I'm like, oh, nah, bro, real life crazy.
Yeah. I learned to lead them crazy. People like that, I say, thank you for telling me who you are. I'm going to believe you. And I'm going to kind of just back myself up a little bit. Yeah. Look at you, got quiet. Look at
yeah, because I'm like, because I don't know this nigga, man. Like, I don't want no smoke, bro. Like,
I don't fuck with you, J Nolan. That quiet, that silence right there, let me know. And let me know he didn't went through the same shit as I did. I said, I keep a distance. He said,
man, because motherfuckers, you know, they be trying to dox niggas and shit off of this YouTube stuff, and it's like, bro, it ain't never that deep.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
By the way, I don't know if you've signed up for this, but look into deleteme.com. Deleteme.com. Like, obviously, what's out there is out there, but deleteme.com definitely helps with protecting not just yourself, but anybody that is associated with it, because I've seen it happen to our peers. I've been on YouTube for a long time, and I've seen it happen. But yeah, deleteme.com is definitely a good place to get that resource going in case you want to put an extra layer of security on it.